They called it the Land of Warriors, a city carved from discipline and blood, where courage was law and weakness was death. Sparta, a name that still echoes through history like the clash of steel upon shields. It was more than a city, it was an idea, a vision of strength forged in the fires of hardship, a society built not for comfort, but for glory. And though centuries have passed, the story of Sparta remains one of the most powerful legends of the ancient world, a city that chose death over defeat. The story begins in the rugged heart of the Peloponnesus, southern Greece, nearly 3,000 years ago. Circlosed by mountains and cut off from the sea, the Spartans were born into a land of scarcity. Yet from this harsh soil grew one of the most disciplined and feared military powers the world has ever known. Where Athens built temples, Sparta built warriors. Where others wrote poetry, Sparta wrote history with the blade. In the 9th century BC, legend tells of a man named Lycurgus, the lawgiver of Sparta. It was he who transformed a collection of tribes into a nation of soldiers. His laws, called the Great Retra, shaped every part of Spartan life. Children were not born to families, they were born to the state. At birth, infants were inspected by elders. The strong were raised, the weak were left to die. It was cruel, but in Sparta, only strength could survive. From the age of 7, boys entered the Agogia brutal training system, unlike anything the world had ever seen. There, they learned to fight, to steal, to endure hunger and pain without complaint. They marched barefoot, slept on reeds, and ate black broth made of blood and vinegar. To flinch was to fail. To disobey was to die. Through pain they learned pride, and through discipline they learned power. By the time a Spartan boy reached 20, he was a warrior, the most feared creation of the ancient world. But the power of Sparta did not come from its men alone. Spartan women were unlike any others in Greece. They were strong, educated, and free to speak their minds. While other women were kept in silence, Spartan women trained their bodies and raised their sons to be heroes. "Come back with your shield," they said, or on it. It was not cruelty, it was duty, the sacred bond between mother and warrior. In the 6th century BC, Sparta rose to dominance. It conquered its neighbors, the Mycenaeans, turning them into Helistathone serfs who farmed the land so the warriors could train for war. The Helots outnumbered the Spartans many times over, but fear kept them silent. The city itself became a fortress of discipline, ruled by 2 kings and a council of elders. Every man served the army until the age of 60. Every decision was made for the survival of the state. In Sparta, freedom meant obedience. Yet for 2 centuries, this system worked. No city could match Sparta's military might. At Thermopylae, in 480 BC, that power would be tested. The Persian emperor Vast, unstoppable, descended upon Greece. King Xerxes commanded an army set to number 1,000,000 men. The Greeks trembled. But at a narrow mountain pass called Thermopylae, one Spartan king and 300 of his warriors stood to face the storm. Leonidas. His name would become legend. He knew the battle was hopeless. He knew he was marching to death. But for Sparta, retreat was not an option. For 3 days, they held the pass. Spears shattered, shields broke, and still they fought. When their weapons were gone, they fought with their hands and teeth. At last they fell, surrounded by the enemy. But in dying, they bought Greece. Time to unite. Their courage became a beacon to all free men. "Go tell the Spartans," said the monument at Thermopylae, "that here, obedient to their laws, we lie." The death of the 300 turned Sparta into legend. Across the centuries, their stand would become a symbol of defiance, a lesson in the power of sacrifice. Yet Sparta itself would not remain invincible. In the following century, the city began to rot from within. Its obsession with purity and perfection became its weakness. As the years passed, fewer children were born, the Helots rebelled, and the warriors grew arrogant. When Sparta defeated Athens in the Peloponnesian War, it seemed to have conquered Greece, but victory became poison. Without a common enemy, discipline faded, corruption spread, and Sparta began to crumble. In 371 BC, The city met its fate at the Battle of Lut. The Theban general Epaminondas shattered the Spartan army using tactics they could not imagine. For the first time in centuries, Spartan soldiers fled the field. Their dream of invincibility died that day. Yet even in defeat, the legend endured. To the end, they remained what they were: warriors. They did not build monuments or empires. They left no libraries or palaces. What they left was an idea, the belief that honor was worth more than life itself. Even when Rome rose and Sparta became a shadow of its former self, travelers still came to see the city where men lived like heroes and died like gods. Today, the ruins of Sparta lie silent, scattered across the valley of the Eurotas River. The mountains watch, as they always have, unmoving, eternal. The wind whispers through the stones where once the voices of warriors thundered. Yet the spirit of Sparta is not dead. It lives wherever courage defies fear, wherever discipline triumphs over weakness, wherever people choose death over surrender. Sparta was not built of marble or gold. It was built of flesh and fire, of blood and resolve. Its empire was not of land, but of the human spirit. Its fall was inevitable, but its legacy is immortal, because in every soldier who stands his ground, in every heart that refuses to yield, Sparta still breathes. Its story is a mirror held up to humanity, itself a reminder that greatness is born from struggle, that freedom demands sacrifice, and that sometimes the greatest victory is simply to stand and fight. They were the sons of Lycurgus, the children of iron and flame. They were Sparta, and though their city may be dust, their code will never die. For as long as men value courage, the name of Sparta will never be forgotten. The city that chose death over defeat still stands not in stone, but in legend.